5, 4, 3, 2.
Hi, I'm Jim Cramer. You're probably wondering why I'm wearing my mask. It's because my team stinks, okay? It's not just a traditional COVID mask. It's a mask to protect myself from the stench of my team. This is Bull Market Fantasy. We're presented by DraftKings, which now is in Link Field. We've got them in our, what I regard as being one of the greatest spots of the stadium. Thank heavens. I hope I get a free pass, because right now I'm stuck in my box. Not that I'm in my box, because of COVID. Okay, anyway, this is where we help teach you how to win your fantasy football league, your DFS contest, which is my saving grace from the stench of my team, and make money betting on football, which I wish I can, but boy, we got the prophet who can help us. Yeah, that's right. Here to do it is Bill Enright. Why do I call him the prophet? Is that just stupid? No, because he helps us profit. Bill's rankings are consistently marked as the most accurate when it comes to betting. He's Professor Profit because he is helping teach all of us how to win our bets. I do not play for dinner. So what did I do? I selected the guy whom I felt had the best record in America in fantasy and in betting, and I'm giving it to you. Bill, take over.
Thanks, Jim. Kind words for you. Week 4 in the NFL. We're already in October. After this weekend, that means a quarter of the NFL season is going to be at the books. Life in the NFL certainly comes at you fast.
Well, I mean, a quarter already? When you have both the bad fantasy and bad reality, only DFS can help us.
That's right.
Only.
It's our savior.
But you know what? For those of you who have that situation but are able to gamble, we got a lot to get. But our first pick the lock courtesy of Jimmy from Anywhere, hashtag Jimmy from Anywhere. We started that last week. The guy was unbelievable last year, and he's off to a fast start, hitting that first lock of the season, a game that a lot of people felt at halftime. They were worried. I talked to him at halftime. He wasn't the least bit worried. Good. Not at all. I mean, guys were like, oh, my God, the Washington team's doing well. He goes, shut up. Shut up.
That was a great pick.
That's what I like. I like confidence. So we're going to give you, what it could be hopefully the equivalent of when the Browns easily covered the spread, even though there were many doubters out there saying, Jim, where did you get Jimmy from Anywhere? And the answer is, I got him anywhere. We're also going to highlight the highest scoring games according to DraftKings by looking at the point totals on the sportsbook. This helps us identify the players we want to use in our season-long and, most importantly, DFS lineups. I say most importantly because, oh, Lordy, we need some help. And we're going to do DFS that morning. So you're going to have to check the site. We're going to discuss the players you want in your lineups or you want to fade this weekend. Plus, we're going to go over who to start, of course, and who to sit in your season-long lineups during our lightning round. And I'm very excited about Sunday programming. We got to do a lot of Sunday programming because my wife's away in some place I never heard of in upstate New York. That is a recipe for just a field day on Sunday. But first, let's talk about Thursday Night Football. Oh, boy, here's a must-watch. It's the Jets and the Broncos. Two teams where the Eagles are better than because we have a tie. And we didn't kiss our sister last week. We kissed the treads of a tank that was running over our face. All right, Bill, why are we watching these 2 0-3 teams?
We're watching because, one, we love football, and there's always money to be made, but I think we have to be disciplined when it comes to the Broncos and the Jets. We really need to dive in deep to this game, but as always, there is money to be made.
Well, I hope so, because it's certainly not going to be the most entertaining of matches, but you never know. Never know. Look, I've got another big reason to get pumped up about the game tonight. DraftKings is running back their big play day promotion. Oh, God, I wish I could be in this. Where if there's a 20-plus yard touchdown in the fourth quarter tonight, you automatically get entered into a Sunday $100,000 contest. So you can't miss. You got to watch the fourth quarter. Just opt in for free and make it rain. These things are so much fun, especially when I'm trying to get a guy up. I'm Googling my whole darn lineup. Bill, how's the Broncos situation?
All right, so let's talk about the Broncos for a second because they are down to their third-string quarterback, Brett Ripien.
Is he related to Mark?
He is related to Mark. It's his nephew.
His nephew.
Yeah.
It's his nephew. Do you know that the Tulane, when my daughter was there, they drafted because it's like drafting Joe Montana's son. Ugh!
How'd that work out?
Yeah, tell me about it. Should I draft? I'm looking around. Should I take Brett Ripien?
No. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here. That's not good for the Broncos pass catchers when you're dealing with your third string quarterback, Jerry Jeudy.
The Jets D.
Say it again.
The Jets D against this guy, against Mark Ripien's nephew.
You'd have to imagine that the Jets D comes to play against a third string quarterback, and you have to downgrade rookie wide receiver for the Broncos, Jerry Jeudy, their tight end Noah Fant. I think you're keeping an eye on this game, Melvin Gordon, because it doesn't look like Phillip Lindsay is going to play. I might hit the over on Gordon's total yards prop bet, which is 87.5 now that Phillip Lindsay is expected to be out. And I might hit the over on Melvin Gordon's 60.5 rushing yards. Those are the two bets for tonight that I'm going to be keeping an eye on.
So, look, I'm a neophyte this. I go to DraftKings.
Yeah.
How do I find this? How do I find this thing?
DraftKings, you click on Sportsbook, and then it's going to be the Jets-Broncos game. You go to player props, and then it has rushing yards, receiving yards, total player props, who's going to score first. And there's a lot to go through. But that's why you have us. We go through the props for you, and we identify the ones that we really like.
All right, let's deal with reality here, because that's going to be beyond my ken, but I am going to study it. I currently have the Rams D. Why do I have them? Because they are arguably playing the worst team anywhere. A team that you said could be downgraded to the SEC any minute.
Yes.
Would you rather have me play the Jets against a third-string quarterback on a Thursday night game, or have the only team that doesn't have COVID that's still going to show up and lose, the Giants? Which is better?
All right. So
do I want to keep the Rams against the Giants or suddenly awake the Jets D?
No, because one, the Rams defense, their matchup is so good against the Giants, and they actually have a good defense. We're not going to use the Jets, who have a bad defense, just because they have a good matchup. You have a 2-win situation with the Rams. Good defense, bad matchup, great matchup. Whereas the Jets, bad defense, good matchup. So take the one.
I got you. Okay, that's a great way to think about it. You're giving me a great way to think about it. All right, now, Jameson Crowder missed the last 2 games. I had him on my squad 2 years ago. I loved him, okay? Well, the Jets need him back. They need him to show. What's the word? Because I know that could affect the over on his receptions, which is at 4.5. And I'm staying away from the spread on this one because I will take the Jets' money line. Home field doesn't really matter, but a first-string quarterback versus a third-string quarterback absolutely matters. And even when the starter is Sam Darnold, there's still a massive difference in talent and skill. So fill me in on that.
So Jameson Crowder, he really had an incredible game in week 1 where he ended up getting hurt, but not before he had, I think it was 8 catches, 110 yards, and a touchdown. Now, he did miss the last 2 games. Like you mentioned, his over-under on his player prop for receptions is at 4.5. If he plays throughout the whole game tonight, he easily gets to 6 receptions. So I'm taking 3 bets for tonight. Melvin Gordon on the over rushing, Melvin Gordon on the over total rushing and receiving, and Jameson Crowder over on his receptions.
So I'm keeping Crowder in my lineup then for fans.
You have to. You actually.
Just so people know
you don't have any other choice.
All right. So just people, I want to explain again the thesis of what we're doing here. Okay. Of bull market fantasy. I am a fantasy football fanatic and a fanatic about football. Bill is a prophet of fantasy and of reality wagering. I do not wager. I do not own stocks. I am Mr. Clean. But I am fascinated by the world of wagering because the world of wagering far more determines who I put in my lineup than the knuckleheaded way, even though, of course, I've always won the highest points or Super Bowl, knucklehead way I do it. Now, before one of the things I want to explain to people is when he gives me this stuff, when you hear what Bill said, what that says to me is play Jameson Crowder. What it says to you maybe is to go to DraftKings and do some of these bets. I just want the Jameson Crowder info because I live or die fantasy, and like I said, I wear my mask enough. I don't want to have to wear it just when I look at my team. Here's a quick recap. We're keeping an eye on who is playing. That will determine the bets to make. If Philip Lindsay is out, I had him once on my team at the beginning. Melvin Gordon gets an upgrade on his rushing prop. If Jameson Crowder is playing, and it looks like he is, we're using that reception prop of 4.5%. 4.5, I'm sorry. It looks promising to go over, as does the Jets' money line. Why is the money line good?
I will not take the spread in this game, but I have to imagine, if you believe in how important quarterbacks are to an NFL game, Sam Darnold is more talented and a better quarterback than Brett Ripien. I mean, I'm basing it just off that. A first-string quarterback going against a third-string quarterback. The first-string quarterback should win the game. So that's why I would look at the Jets' money line, not touching the spread.
Okay, now look, there's another 7 games with an over-under of 50 points. Remember, we always want to know what the sportsbook thinks are going to be the highest scoring games. It will inform us on our fantasy lineup. Plus, of course, maybe you play the over-under. I know, like, some of the other guys that are from the other clubs that do this wagering, they're all over the over-under, but they are emotional, and the profit is not emotional. Okay. We also want to set up the DFS lineup. Bill, you're going to give us DFS lineup Sunday morning, right?
Yes. We're going to have 3 players today, 2 that we want in the lineups, 1 that we're going to fade. We're going to get to that in a little bit. And then on Sunday, we're going to have a full lineup that people can use.
Okay, so I'm happy that. Give me just tell me where we are right now with some high projected totals.
Yeah, so fantasy players are going to be really happy this week because with this many games with a high projected over-under, 57 games with a higher than 50 projected points. So I'm going to start with 2 obvious games. The Patriots and the Chiefs with an over-under of 52.5, and the Saints and Lions at 54. Great game stack opportunity with New England and Kansas City, just like we saw last week. Remember, we did this on Tuesday. We saw that Russell Wilson, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Michael Gallup, that lineup won $1 million. This is another opportunity to have a great game stack with the Chiefs and the Patriots. If you want to go Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, that will cost you $21,100. That's 42% of your entire salary, your entire budget for the week. I think that's too costly for just 3 players. So I'm not going to be stacking those 3 players. But maybe I take Mahomes and McCole Hardman and Julian Edelman instead of Travis Kelce. I think that could be a little bit more less pricey, as productive.
All right, so Edelman, I've got on my team.
Yep.
What is the confidence level of Edelman? He stunk last week.
He did, and I think it was because Rex Burkhead, who will never score 3 touchdowns in a single game ever again, was scoring these outrageous plays, and the Patriots didn't have to pass as much. But Cam Newton is playing against Patrick Mahomes. He's $1,000 less than Patrick Mahomes. So another game stack opportunity for the Chiefs and the Patriots is Cam Newton, Julian Edelman, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. That's only going to cost $25,000 for 4 out of 9 players. Oh, and Tyreek Hill is also in that. So that's 4 players for $25,000. That costs maybe 50% of your lineup to get your next 5 guys. So that's a game stack that I'm going to be looking at as well.
All right, so let me understand this. Are those numbers subject to change between now on the DraftKings book?
No. Those salaries will remain the same no matter if the Patriots come down with COVID and they're starting, their 4th-string quarterback this week. The salary is the salary.
Okay, and now I also need to know, are we subject when we look at the different salaries? Yeah. You need to explain to people why stacking works if you missed the last show.
All right, so remember, the reason why we want to look at these high-scoring games is the fact that the sportsbook, which has to get the number right? Otherwise, they lose a lot of money. So if they say the game is going to be over 45 and it's really going to be, a 60-point game, they're going to lose a lot of money. So they have to get as close to the final score as possible. So that's why we look at the highest scoring games of the week. The Chiefs and Patriots are one of them. We looked at the Cowboys and the Seahawks last week, right? The over-under was, I think, 55.5. The highest.
was ridiculous how well you nailed that.
Yeah. And you look at that $1 million winning lineup, Russell Wilson, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and Michael Gallup. They had 4 players from that one game. From that one game, 4 players on their roster, and that's what escalated them to the top of the leaderboard.
How many different formations can I enter? Can I do 10?
Yeah, so that's another great question, Jim, because GPPs, remember, guaranteed prize pools, they let you enter up to 150 lineups, 150 different variations of a lineup. That's why, for me, I take your approach to investing into the stock market, disciplined approach, practical, small profits over a long period of time. That's why I'm a cash game.
Diversified. If you're doing that many, you might as well be a mutual fund. A mutual fund of players.
No, because it really gives you the opportunity to add as many players as possible.
So in this business, it's good.
It's good to do that. But that's why I'm a cash game player.
Is there an algorithm? People talk about how the big guys have algorithms.
Yes, there are, and we have a DFS optimizer on Sports Illustrated. You can get it for $19.99 a month by becoming a member of SI Fantasy Pro. It's great. I'm a cash game player because my approach to DFS is a little bit more like your approach to the stock market. You can't go broke making a small profit, and at the end of the season, I will have enough cash game wins that I come out in the black. I come out with a nice little profit. I'm not looking for that lotto ticket.
So people got to know my philosophy because I think it lends directly to this. I like to have a very steady lineup of stocks, okay? And then I always have some speculative stocks. Yep. Why do I need speculative stocks? Because I like to have action, and because Facebook was a speculative for me. Alphabet, now Google was a speculative for me. Amazon was a spec for me, okay? So people have to understand these specs, Netflix, they all worked out for me. Tesla worked out for me. Now I obviously have some bombs. Some of these ones didn't work out for me. And a lot of them are in Confessions of a Street Addict, which is my first book. All right, the Chiefs looked incredible. My wife, of course, I tried to get her involved with the show, Lisa. I said, Lisa, tell me something about fantasy that you want me to ask the prophet. And she said, ask Bill if Mahomes is going to have a boy or a girl.
I don't know. Did they reveal the gender of their child? I think it is a boy.
But it's not really. I tried to tell her it's not that relevant to the show. And she said, ask Bill anyway. Show some humanity, Jim. So there you go. That's it for humanity, the program, okay? The Chiefs did look incredible playing the Ravens. What other games have high totals?
All right, so the Seahawks and the Dolphins has a very high over-under, 53 points.
Dolphins?
Yeah.
There's guys available from the Dolphins on the wide receiver side.
Let's go through them because I think there could be some guys that you might want to pick up. Russell Wilson.
Let me go. Everything's slow today because of what we're really going to talk about, which is the COVID.
Yeah.
Don't worry, everybody. Stay tuned. We got the COVID. Okay, so I'm looking for dolphins, huh?
Yeah.
When was the last time you looked for a dolphin? Well, you always look for there's always one guy who's a wide receiver. All right, go ahead.
We're going to get to who you should pick up a little bit later. I want to focus on the Seahawks-Dolphins game because for DFS standpoint, Russell Wilson, he's playing out of his mind. 14 touchdowns in 3 games. That's a new NFL record. Better than when Patrick Mahomes hit 50 touchdowns 2 years ago. DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, they're really benefiting from Russell Wilson's spectacular play. We do need to keep an eye on Chris Carson because if he is out, Carlos Hyde becomes an RB2 in season-long leagues and an inexpensive running back option on DraftKings.
I should have gotten him
at $5,300.
My bad.
Preston Williams, is he available? He's in that Dolphins-Seahawks game.
Preston Williams?
Yeah, Preston Williams, Dolphins wide receiver. He tore his ACL last year. He was off to a good start. Tore his ACL rookie season. He's been coming on stronger as the weeks go on. The Seahawks secondary is so bad, and they get out to such an early lead that their teams are forced.
Isn't even in the ESPN lineup.
Yes, he's there. Preston. Preston.
It says clear search. Preston Williams. He's not. All right, we'll deal with that later. It's my own. That's just my own insecurity. Okay?
All right. I also want to talk about the Cardinals and the Panthers game. This is 51.5. DeAndre Hopkins, Kyler Murray, Kenyon Drake. We all know those guys are no-brainers for season-long leagues. Mike Davis with your boy, Christian McCaffrey, out. Mike Davis is someone that you want to put in your season-long lineups as
Everyone
well.
has Mike Davis. Okay? Even he's completely taken.
I know.
Right?
Yeah, and you have to start him this week. He looked good. To me, the Bills and the Raiders, this one sticks out as a possible under bet. I'm not sure if they get to 52.5, but I do like Josh Jacobs and Josh Allen and Darren Waller in that one. The Saints and the Lions, this is at 54. This game could be another sneaky game for a game stack. Matt Stafford, either of his receivers, Kenny Golladay or Marvin Jones, and then Alvin Kamara. That would be about 19,000.
Could you mention Hawkinson for heaven's sake? Could you mention him?
Let me finish. The $19,900 for Stafford, Marvin Jones, and Alvin Kamara. Maybe you throw in TJ Hawkinson for $4,800. That comes out to $24,700. That's a really sneaky game stack to use this week. I kind of like that one. I'll be using that in one or two of my GPP lineups.
I like that. All right, what about here's a game that really does matter. How about the Cowboys and Browns? And is Kareem Hunt playing?
Kareem Hunt, Jim, I got bad news. He didn't practice on Wednesday with a groin injury. They signed one of their players, Dontrell Hilliard, who's a running back, off their practice squad. There's a lot of superstars in this game, and if Kareem Hunt doesn't play, Nick Chubb is going to get plenty of action. This is the second highest total of the week, 56 points. Dak Prescott, he has the edge on Baker Mayfield, but the running backs, I think they're about even. Ezekiel Elliott, Nick Chubb. Kareem Hunt, again, banged up with a little bit of a groin injury. We're keeping an eye on that situation for sure. And then we have the receivers, right?
If Hunt practices tomorrow, are we okay?
If he practices on Friday, that is always the biggest indication of whether a player is going to play on Sunday. If they practice on Friday, even if it's limited, that's a great indication. If he's
projected to have 96 points.
I know. You got really a walking wounded squad.
That's all right. Go ahead. We got this. Go ahead.
It's a runabout.
Throw in even tight end Dalton Schultz or something, right?
Yeah. Hey, Dalton Schultz. Do not knock Dalton Schultz because, hey, even if, you have Michael Gallup, Amari Cooper, Jarvis Landry, CeeDee Lamb, Dalton Schultz is going to get a lot of targets this week, and he comes at a decent price on DraftKings at $4,300. And if you're looking to stream a tight end for your season-long league, Dalton Schultz could be a guy that you want to get in your lineups.
Dalton Schultz? Really?
Yeah.
He's playing. Great, I'm playing against him. Thanks. All right, we get through a lot, but there's one more game, and that's the highest over-under of the week with the Falcons playing the Packers on Monday night. The over-under is set at 56.5.
Yeah, so we're going to take a little bit of a closer look at this game. The Packers hit the over in all three of their games this year. The Falcons are 2-1 for hitting the over. Interesting battle between a 3-0 Packers team and an 0-3 Falcons team, and I'm not sure if Dan Quinn can last much longer if this team keeps blowing their leads.
That's what I was thinking. Oh my God.
It's really, really unfortunate for him. We're keeping an eye on Devonte Adams because
Doc Rivers is available.
Doc Rivers is probably available. So is Phil Jackson. I heard he might get the Clippers job.
Phil Jackson.
I heard he might. Yeah, a lot of rings. Devonte Adams, he missed week 3. We're keeping an eye on him. Aaron Jones, not Aaron Rodgers, will end up being the star of that game. Let's take a look at a chart.
Wait a second. I got Jamal Williams.
Jamal Williams is a decent flex option. You're going to get 8 to 10 points. Low ceiling, low risk.
Play him over Joshua Kelly?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. Play him over Joshua Kelly.
Really?
Jim, we have some technical analysis for you on this over-under. If you look at the last 7 games, courtesy of our friends from thewolfline.com, this is showing us...
I need friends.
All right, well, these guys are good friends. Listen, this is showing us the performance over for both teams in the last 7 games. Every time you see a point going up, that's a point both of these teams hit the over in their last 7 games. So we see a major uptrend for both the Falcons and the Packers. 4 games in a row, they have hit the over, okay? That's why this line... No, because I'm going to show you something next, right?
Okay.
4 games in a row, this line is going straight up. Now let's look at their last 20 games, okay? Now we're actually going to see a little bit of a resistance level, because look at the resistance line here. If you go 14 games back, they hit this point once before, and then they came right back down. We're in a similar situation. I think you call this like a double top or something. It looks a little frothy, maybe like Snowflake's IPO.
Well, wait a second. No, that actually to me, if you just did the straight out technical analysis,
what do you see?
It is a reverse head and shoulders, which would mean that the line's going to keep going up.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, this is a reverse head and shoulders pattern, which I wonder now, we have this thing called the Fibonacci numbers, and it's just things that just pop up in pine cones, in shells, and in charts. And maybe this, wouldn't that be something? Maybe this is it could be Fibonacci, or it just could be a straight out a reverse head and shoulders. Absolutely.
Okay.
Something to think about. We have to go test that. Let's back test that, okay?
Yeah, we're going to keep an eye on this chart, and we'll see what happens on Monday Night Football. Something to keep note of. The game originally started off as an over-under of 58 points. It is now down to 56.5. So it looks like a lot of money was coming in on the under, and the sports books adjusted.
Wow. All right, that's very telling. All right, now let's turn our attention to DFS Cash Games. Remember, you can play for millions of dollars in prizes, which, by the way, they're being given out. Don't you want some? So I need you to go to DraftKings.com. Now, I'm going to push this promo code BULL because I don't want you going in there and pressing bear, okay? The DraftKings Fantasy Millionaire is a GPP. That's a guaranteed prize pool. For this segment, we're going to go over Cash Games lineup for those great 50-50 contests, which so many of you guys play. We examine both types of rosters on our Tuesday show, which you can now watch at bullmarketfantasy.com. Cash Games have a much different approach. We're looking to build profits over a longer period of time instead of a big winning ticket trade. That's what I recommend when I've been talking stocks for the last 40 years. We have 3 categories and 3 players to fill, starting with our blue chip, who is the stud, and that's the word that we always use, you want in your lineup. An example of blue chip stock, this is the player that will help build the foundation of your roster. It's the kind of stock, I always like to think of it as J&J. Why? AAA balance sheet, consistently makes the earnings, CEO really terrific, dividend boost regularly, lots of great things in the pipeline. Isn't that the definition of a great football team? And it's the definition of a great stock. Bill, take it over. Who's the blue chip for
COVID-19 vaccine trial? We got to mention that for J&J.
Yeah, I mean, now they just disqualified me. Why? Because I had a torn rotator cuff.
Yeah.
So they gave me a steroid shot. Because I have a steroid shot, J&J will not let me in the trial.
How did you tear your rotator cuff?
Swimming. I thought swimming was supposed to be good exercise.
Oh,
nonsense.
What did they give you in Dominican Republic? Butte?
Oh yeah. Well, a guy, I hurt my back. I know this is like a little bit different, but I hurt my back we took a boat trip.
Yeah.
Me, my daughters, and some of their friends, and I hit the gunnel. I hit my back, and I knew that I was pretty much done for the vacation. So I called the Dominican Republic doctor, and he had a thing that was like this big, the shot.
Yeah.
And he said, this is going to hurt. I said, oh, thank you very much for that. So he injected it. And I said, do you mind if I ask you what you just gave me? And he said, well, I gave you a horse tranquilizer called Butte. I said, well, you just gave me a horse tranquilizer? He said, yeah, you won't feel a thing for 3 days. Day 4, I hurt like a banshee, but I was home.
That was perfect.
So why don't we start with someone who the Eagles should have drafted? Go ahead.
All right, so the blue chip player is DK Metcalf. He's our blue chip player for week 4. The Seahawks second-year receiver is off to an incredible start thanks to his quarterback. The best 3-game start for any quarterback in terms of touchdowns in NFL history. Metcalf has scored in every game this year, has not had less than 90 yards, and he's playing against a Dolphins defense that is out without one of their top cornerbacks in Byron Jones. Metcalf has a 3-inch height advantage over the tallest Dolphins defensive back, and he's not scoring just once this week, Jim. He's going to score at least twice in week 4, and he'll have his 4th straight game of over 90 yards. He's expensive, $6,800. He's the 5th highest wide receiver, but he is so worth it.
Okay, so that, like, people say, okay, so why do you like J&J? It's expensive versus, say, some of the other drug stocks, like AbbVie, which I own for my travel trust, like Pfizer. And the answer is you have to pay up for best of breed. Metcalf right now is best of breed, and so you have to pay up. Next category is something I like that's like a bond. This is a safe, reliable player, nothing too flashy, not overly expensive on the DraftKings salary. Sound, safe, smart investment without breaking the bank. And again, the analogy that I would give here is Bristol Myers. Bristol Myers got a good dividend. Bristol Myers going to hit the numbers. It's not going to shoot the lights out like J&J. Not every company can be as good as J&J. Now, others might just say, Jim, why not just go with Con Ed or American Electric Power? I like both of them as alternatives to the bond market. So any one of those would be fine, and you wouldn't have to pay up. Who can I find in your lineup that's the equivalent of, say, an American Electric Power?
All right, Rams second-year running back Darrell Henderson, $5,800. That is not a high price for a running back. He's not available in your league. Don't even bother looking. Sorry. I'm sorry. I know he's not there. I'm sorry.
Right.
But
How
you
about
can
Jared
use him in
Cook?
You can use him in DraftKings, $5,800.
Arian Johnson.
No, I'm not bothering with him.
All right. Go ahead.
Darrell Henderson, low risk, solid reward, back-to-back games of 20 or more points. He's not going to crush your salary cap with the $5,800 price tag. He plays a Giants defense that is getting steamrolled like fresh pavement on Route 80. New York gave up 113 yards to Benny Snell. They gave up 18 points to David Montgomery. Jerick McKinnon and Jeff Wilson both scored touchdowns against the Giants. Henderson is our bond for week 4.
The Giants are McAdam. That's what they are.
Yes, they are. That's a good way to. You know, my grandma used to eat that when she was younger. She said
McAdam. I guess it tastes like licorice. Was she better? Who's better in your family?
Oh, my grandma and my grandfather. Rest in peace. We have to get my grandmother on the show. The gambling granny. She texts me every Thursday, every Sunday, every Monday. She tells me her bets.
What is she picking this week?
She's not picking this Broncos-Jets game because she doesn't like. She thinks either Billy. How could I watch this Giants-Jets game? I'd rather watch that presidential debate again. That's how trash she thinks the game is going to be tonight. She's a pip. She plays poker.
She's got some action on the game.
She plays poker every Monday for like 8 hours. She's out of her mind, but she's funny.
With it, right?
Oh, she's with it.
Poker.
Yeah.
All right, the final player in our DFS Cash Game rundown is a player we are fading, shying away from, don't want to use. I often like to think that player is in a too crowded situation. Remember, we always want to differentiate our lineup by having low ownership players. So when a player is too crowded, it doesn't separate you from the pack. Who is the too crowded player for week 4?
Yeah, I was struggling with who I really thought would be someone that has a high ownership, right? Because last week I said Miles Sanders was going to be highly owned, and he was, 92%. I think it's going to be Mike Davis this week. I think you can see him over 35% ownership. He scored a lot of points last week, comes at a relatively inexpensive price this week at only $5,700. That's $100 less, by the way, of Darrell Henderson, who's our bond. I think this game is going to have a high over-under. People are going to attract to that. They're going to attract to Mike Davis for that reason. But for cash game purposes, Mike Davis is going to be a fade for me. I think he's going to be too crowded. I'm staying away.
Too crowded player. Got it. Yeah. It's like being short Bed Bath, which I told people not to do. All right, recap for our 3 players for cash games. This is for 50-50s on DraftKings. DK Metcalf, who we should have drafted. He's our blue chip. Darrell Henderson, don't bother to look. He's taken. He's our bond. And Mike Davis is our too crowded player. All right, now, we got to go. You know what we're doing now.
I'm so excited for this.
And, look, I want to disclaim again. I mean, look, Jimmy from Anywhere is my guy.
Yeah.
I've known him for 22 years. He's been really solid. Doesn't mean, right, Bill, that he's necessarily going to be right. Put that caveat in.
Let's just
the,
put the
performance.
Let me just say this. In order to be a winning bettor, a profitable bettor, you only have to be right 54.5% of the time. So anything over 54.5%, you are right. Because you say the 54 because you have to pay the VIG and the juice and you have to cover the spread. The odds when you're betting the spread, they're always, shifting. So 54%, if you're a better than 54%, you are a profitable bettor.
Okay. With that, then Jimmy from Anywhere is put in a different light. That makes me feel better because the guy's been right a lot more than he's been wrong, which is much higher than the 54%. Much. He was
70% last year. He was right. Yeah, he crushed it.
I need everyone to know that Jimmy from Anywhere was 70% last year. He picked one of the toughest games last week,
Yep.
which was the Browns. He did not sweat it when Washington looked good. And I want everyone to know, I mean, look, if there's just a couple of gamblers who know Jimmy from Anywhere goes to goes to DraftKings and goes in with Bull, that's a promo code. We love the promo code. And then you, let's just say here it is. Jimmy from Anywhere is back for week 4 with a new team. This is our best bet of the week. And it is the Houston Texans laying the 4.5 points to the Vikings.
Interesting. That's an interesting pick from Jimmy from Anywhere. I can get behind that for sure. I kind of really like that one. That's a big call from Jimmy from Anywhere. That's why we love him. Both of these teams are 0-3. I mean, he's not exactly taking like a heavy favorite here. Both of these teams are 0-3. The Texans, they've had a tough schedule. Start the year with the Chiefs and the Ravens and the Steelers. Those are the 3 best teams in the NFL. And you look at how much the Texans have been in a downtrend. We have another chart from our guys from the Wolfline Sports. The Texans have been in a downtrend, right, the last 3 games because they've had a really tough schedule. I'd almost say, Jim, and you can give me some help here, this is a distressed asset, prime for a buyback, a very cheap opportunity to get in on the Texans. So this line, I think, would support what Jimmy from Anywhere is picking.
Well, that would be Ford Motor. Jim Farley, the CEO, just got rid of the previous CFO. Yeah. That's important because Ford has been in a downtrend. It looks like a permanent downtrend. A lot of the Robinhood guys are playing Ford. There's chance that Ford could now surprise because they got a better management. And sometimes we know. I mean, it's like the CFO is kind of like the offensive coordinator. Okay?
Right.
He can see and knows what to be able to do. He's not a GM. The CEO is both GM and head coach. An offensive coordinator means someone who will figure out how to score without costing too much. And that's what we need. So you're okay. You like this Jimmy from Anywhere pick.
Yeah. And remember.
Last year. Wow.
Remember.
Right, we have to be disciplined in our approach. And that's why Jimmy from Anywhere only gives us 1 pick. Just like we do with a stock. I mean, one of the things that I've learned, people say, Jim, I want to know what you think about the electric vehicle, and then they'll say workhorse, okay? And I say, look, electric vehicle, that's Tesla. And they'll say, no, you got to give me plug power. No, Tesla. You don't need to have that many bets. People want to make too many bets. It's a major mistake in the stock market. It's a major mistake in this market.
Yes.
All right. Start 'em, sit 'em, lightning round. Okay, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Time for the lightning round. That's where helping you start your starting lineup for all your season-long players. There's a lot of guys have 2 quarterbacks, right? So let's start with Joe Burrow.
Looking for his 3rd straight game of over 300 yards. Great matchup against the Jaguars. This is a team that just got carved up by Ryan Fitzpatrick and Ryan Tannehill the week before. The rookie has been having some of the best quarterback play the last 2 weeks. It's time to get him in your lineups for week 4.
All right. Now, I mean, he's available. There's plenty, not in my league. My league, everybody. My league, I can have Sam Darnold. All right. No. A guy who's starting to show some not happy feet, but good feet.
Yeah.
A guy who did not overthrow Miles, because Miles turned out to have a high hamstring problem. Yeah. So it wasn't the fault of Carson Wentz.
I'm sorry. I can't trust Carson Wentz this week, and it's not because of him. It's because of his matchup against the 49ers defense that is allowing the 5th least amount of points to opposing quarterbacks. And when you consider that Carson Wentz, I mean, who is he going to throw the ball to this week? Alshon Jeffrey's not back yet. Deshaun Jackson's hurt. Jalen Reagor's hurt. Dallas Goedert is hurt. That leaves Zach Ertz and Greg Ward and the player that they took over DK Metcalf, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. I'm leaving Carson Wentz.
He may not play. Arcega-Whiteside may not play.
Oh, great. That's another less option.
They picked up Deontay Burnett.
Never heard of him. Off the street.
No,
he's from the count.
I think he was under the tracks. They also have they have another guy, Hightower.
Oh, Hightower. He's a rookie this year. I think he was a 6th or 5th round draft pick, right?
He's dynamite, right?
Yeah, I'm not getting too excited about that one either, Jim. Right. At least you don't have 3 losses. You only have 2.
Thanks.
Yeah.
All right. That hurts a little, but let's move on to a guy who's somebody in my league cut. I thought I could pick him up, but I'm not at the right spot in the waiver board. Mark Ingram.
Yeah, Mark Ingram. A lot of people panicking about Ingram last week. Only scored 3 points on Monday night against the Chiefs, but look for the Ravens and look for Ingram to come out with a vengeance and take it out on the Washington football team. I think this is a team without 2 of their best defenders this week. I'm starting Mark Ingram in week 4. He's going to have one of his best games of the year.
Wow, I love that. I don't know why the hell that guy dropped him. Jeez,
that was
much
ill-advised.
All right, here's a guy that I picked up, Jeff Wilson Jr.
He's the 4th man on the 49ers depth chart for the running back, and it does not matter because any running back can produce in Kyle Shanahan's system. Tevin Coleman is out. Jerick McKinnon is out. Jerick McKinnon is dealing with a rib injury. Raheem Mostert is out. Wilson's going to have a productive day against a Philadelphia defense, and he's going to score a touchdown. That's my prediction.
Now, what do you think? Do I hedge and play him instead of Leonard Fournette or Kareem Hunt in order to be able to hedge my bet of just total suicide this weekend?
Well, if we might have those decisions made for you because Kareem Hunt might not be active. You might have to be forced to play Jeff Wilson. You have a lot of GTDs, and we're going to get to them in a little bit, but you have a lot of game time decisions to go through.
Okay, here's a guy, Antonio Gibson.
People were hyping up the rookie because he scored in back-to-back weeks, but I want no part of it. Ravens are coming out mad. They're coming out angry. They're coming out on a mission this week after getting embarrassed by the Chiefs, and they're going to take it all out against Washington. I'm benching Gibson against Baltimore.
You know, I'm so desperate, I'm still hitting him up here. He's taken. Hopefully he's played against me. All right, Devonte Parker.
Listen. Seattle scores so many points that their secondary is really getting passed on a lot. In fact, they're giving up the most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers with 47 points since 2007 through 3 weeks. No other teams this year is allowing more than 35 points to opposing wide receivers. The Seahawks are allowing 47. I'm starting Parker this week, who has he's following up a good, solid 2019 season with a strong start in 2020.
A guy who played for the Ski Daddies for many years, Jarvis Landry.
Odell Beckham Jr., he's getting a lot of love this week, but not so much from but he's not getting a lot of love from me. I'm giving a lot of love to Jarvis Landry, actually. I'm going to actually give Jarvis Landry one of my starts of the week. Big matchup against the Dallas Cowboys, high over-under. I think he's going to have his best performance year to date, going against a Cowboys defense that is giving up the 2nd most points to opposing wide receivers. Again, it's a high-scoring affair. I'm starting Jarvis Landry this week.
Guy who was available last week in a lot of lineups, Hunter Renfrow.
Bryan Edwards is out. Henry Ruggs looks like a long shot to play. I don't think he's going to be out there. That leaves Darren Waller and Hunter Renfrow as the primary receiving options for Derek Carr. Renfrow went off in week 3, 84 yards and a touchdown. He's going to have another good game here in week 4. Start him if you got him.
Is he available in a lot of places?
He probably got picked up on Tuesday. for the most part, he got picked up the last 2 weeks. He might not.
We're being forced a lot because of the damn COVID. Give me how about this Dalton Schultz?
I talked about him a little bit earlier. I'm liking Dalton Schultz this weekend. 16 targets the last 2 weeks. The Browns are giving up a lot of receptions to tight ends, actually 22 of them, which is the third most in the league. And props to my guy from Sports Illustrated, Michael Fabiano, for that nice little statistical nugget.
Now, I have to tell you, because of COVID, a lot of guys that you typically would mention that are not available, that are available because you only pick guys. I mean, you're not there. You're not giving people Juju Simon-Schuster there. You're giving people guys that are available. Yeah. I do want to warn people that Miles Sanders is suspect this weekend. So you got to go in that. You got to go in that cesspool of running backs who's still left. And I got to tell you, you're going to end up picking Darren Sproles. By the way, it's not playing.
A lot. No one's talking about this Miles Sanders injury, and it could be.
Well, I come to play too. I'm not a dope.
It could throw people for a lot of loops this weekend. Miles Sanders being out or questionable, that's going to surprise a lot of people this weekend.
What's the line on the Eagles game?
-7.5.
Wow, I wouldn't take that.
No,
I went 9.
It might go up that much. The over/under is only at 46. So
but let me understand that. I mean, maybe the Niners blow us out, but they score some in garbage time.
Maybe it's 28-20, 28-17. That would hit the spread for the Niners, and it would hit the under.
All right, now I want to apologize to everyone. The lightning round's a little longer than the Mad Money lightning round, but look, this is a very special week, and you could say, well, you were supposed to end a half hour ago. Everybody knows that this is a crazy week because of COVID, and we're all scrambling. So, that's what we're doing. So check out more start-sit stuff on the bullmarketfantasy.com site. Are you going to get custom player rankings for your league scoring system? And I love it. All right, 2 more players. Here we go. From the Titans tested positive for COVID-19. Now, let me just explain how this works. Now the Steelers and Titans are postponed. Later in the season, have to take out Tennessee and Pittsburgh players from your lineup. Juju Smith-Schuster, bye. James Conner, Ben Roethlisberger, Derrick Henry, Jonnu Smith, Ryan Tannehill. And before I ask you, Bill, what happens to rescheduling, let me just explain to people what happened here. So BioReference Lab, which is owned by Opco, which is a stock that I think has a lot of promise for a low dollar stock, but has not been acting well. BioReference Labs tested everybody. Okay, they tested everybody Friday. They tested everybody Saturday. They did not test Sunday. They should have used the 15-minute Abbott Labs test. I like Abbott here. I think Abbott goes to 120. The test is really good. The lab companies want to discredit the test. That's a mistake. So they didn't test Sunday. On Monday, they tested, and they got 8. Now, the guy who runs the tests told me, okay, look, we do not have the numbers for everybody. And by the way, they ran those 3 times. So it was not like they didn't, they got as positive. They said, well, that's not enough. Run it again. So the guy who runs the test was saying to me, listen, the viral load does not show up always on day 1. You can have day 2. So then we had a second guy, right? We had a second guy show up.
Yeah.
He said 5 days. 5 days.
Wow.
So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We have one more day. We have not had any Vikings. Bill, even though one of the guys who had it was a nose tackle.
Yeah.
So there's they keep testing the Vikings. And one of the reasons why I think they postponed the game is because BioReference Labs is not willing to have it all clear and then have sick guys play.
Right.
All right? So that's why this thing is they had to postpone it because BioReference could not go along with what the league wanted to do. Now, BioReference is not they're not the commissioner, but they're just saying, look, we can't, you got to wait 5 days. By the way, BioReference told me something very interesting. Everyone thinks you got to wait 14 days. They feel like after 8, you're pretty certain. I've had a quarantine, and I tested 4 times. I tested day 1, which you always should do. And by the way, pretty soon Regeneron's going to have something for if you test day 1 and you're positive, but it's going to be a drip to start, and then it's going to be a pill stay tuned with that. It might be in help. And then what happens is day 2, you don't have to test. Day 3 test, day 5 test. This is what I'm telling you to do if you're going to do it. The 15-minute test is for 98%. And then after that, and that's what they should have done Sunday morning. Now, my recommendation to the league was to do Sunday morning Abbott lab tests. But BioReference is what's known as a PCR test. PCR is 100%, but it also captures a lot of people who are done shedding. So there's pros and cons. But anyway,
right.
The reason why I think that they had to postpone that game is because we have not reached day 5, and they did not want to come up with day 5 and suddenly find out that a Viking had it. Okay, so there we are, Bill.
What's going to happen now in terms of scheduling is their bye week will get moved to week 4. So the Steelers and the Titans, they will have their bye in week 4, and then they'll be rescheduled to either week 7 or week 8. But like you said, Jim, you ran through the list of players. You have to take them out of your lineups. Treat this week as any other kind of bye week for players in your roster from the Titans and the Steelers.
What are you hearing about a player who has COVID who's symptomatic?
3 weeks out. If they test positive. If they test positive, they're going to be on the shelf for 3 weeks minimum.
Yeah, I mean, because, having really looked at this from the stock side, I can tell you that that's aggressive. 3 weeks is aggressive.
Unless the NFL changes their policy, but I don't know if they want them back in the locker room, but back on the practice facility. I don't know if they want them in team meetings anymore. And by the way, I don't think we know exactly who from the Titans tested positive. It could be Derek Henderson.
Someone showed up late, though. Someone may have showed up late on Saturday.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
All right, so now we get to me because I'm pathetic, okay? And let me give you my situation. Oh, look, a lot of people trashing me on Twitter. Don't listen. I don't listen to Cramer. He only backs stocks that are already doing well or over $100 a share, which is a no-brainer. Let's hear him talk about Gaxi or stocks that regular people. And this is the new rap against me. I'm blocking this clown. The new rap against me is I don't care about the regular guy. Now, what am I really trying to do? I'm trying to buy good stocks. I'm not looking at the price because you can buy partial shares now at DraftKings. No, I wish they did. You can go to Robinhood, though. And what really bothers me, and just so people know, is I'm trying to recommend studs, all right? These guys all want me to recommend crap.
What about Marvell? You recommended it at 18. Now it's at 39. That wasn't a $100 stock.
Look at a SPAC. Will someone please kick me in the balls for one of the dumbest trades I've made this year when I allowed Jimmy Cramer to scare me out of this? What am I, Svengali, for heaven's sake? You idiot. You're blocked, Kevin Junkie Jiu-Jitsu. You're finished.
What about Nikola? You warned everybody about Nikola. That was going sky high, and then it dropped down.
About anything I do, right? They just want me to recommend anything. Here's someone who says I'm part of a Nikola cover-up. This is really great.
How are you? What?
These people are insane. I hate them. Jimmy Chill says they're okay. All right, another great show, but let's go to me.
Yeah, let's go to your.
It is all about me. I mean, I read these people on Twitter. It's all about me. Obviously, I'm so powerful that I'm in their brain. Okay. Jimmy took me out of this. Jimmy put me in that. Yeah. Okay. So what did I put you in? Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, Google, Nvidia. I mean, what am I supposed to do? Those are the best stocks of our time. I also recommended Tesla at 6. Okay, so let me go to my lineup. Sorry.
So for a little bit of background on Jim's lineup, he has Christian McCaffrey, who's out. He has Chris Godwin, who is out. He has Juju Smith-Schuster, who is now being postponed. So those are 3 studs that he cannot play this week. He also has
a lot of players. 180 points 2 weeks ago.
I know. And he also has a lot of players that are injured.
I'm playing.
Yeah, go ahead.
There's another guy trashing me on Twitter. I mean, oh my God, could people get a god? I don't want the SPACs.
You need a Jimmy from Chill Twitter bodyguard.
Used to have one. All right, so I got Dak. I got Kareem. So now Kareem sounds like he's out, but that's game time. Is that GTD?
Yes, GTD on Sunday, we'll know.
Okay, so here's my possible replacements. Joshua Kelly,
Devontae
Freeman, or Jeff Wilson.
Jeff Wilson.
Should I make the change now or wait till GTD?
No, wait until Sunday.
Okay, thank you. These are all good information for people.
Yeah.
Fournette looked like a complete bow wow last week. We're okay with Fournette?
You might put Wilson in over Fournette. But I want to see if McKinnon practices. That's going to be
Let me know.
A big.
Okay,
that's
and
gonna
will
be a
you
big
post that somewhere? Where will I find that?
Yeah, Bull Market Fantasy. We have all the injury updates.
Okay. I can play Julian Edelman. That's not a problem, right? I mean, we love Julian. Julian is.
He's in.
Will you tell people why is he always a Q?
That's just what Bill Belichick does. Julian
Edelman.
Edelman.
It's in my head like with the SPAC clowns. I'm going to tell people I love every SPAC. Watch this. I'm going to go on Twitter and tell people I love every single SPAC. And you can buy every SPAC. And then I have everybody love me. And you know what? That makes me suck. Okay.
Don't feed the trolls, Jim.
Don't feed the trolls?
Don't feed the trolls.
I'm going to feed them some poison mushrooms.
Okay. They might, they might take a trip.
They won't. They'll think they have mushroom caps from Roots, real good restaurant in Summit. Jameson Crowder. Good.
You got to play him. You got to play him. If he's active tonight, which I think he's going to be, you have to play him. Your options are so limited this week that Crowder's probably your wide receiver too.
Okay, so yeah. Well, I have an empty space for Hawkinson. I'm fine. Jamal Williams, I'm fine as a flex.
Who else do you have?
To play Joshua Kelly over Jamal?
No,
or Jeff Wilson over Jamal?
Well, Jeff Wilson might be in for either Hunt or Fournette.
All right, so you'll stay close to me on that. A lot of people won't, guys. Okay, so that leaves me, and this is our last thing.
Wide receiver 3.
Up on Twitter. I mean, it's not like you're sitting there watching I know you got things to do. You think I don't have anything to do? I've been up since 3:30 reading the damn Twitter where everybody says you got to recommend everything. Okay, Svengali. Let me look at the wide receiver situation. Okay, here's who I have. I have a chance to get. I'm going to go over them. Stay with me. Hey, you know what it is? You ever have to go to page 2 on ESPN?
That's terrible.
Page 2. All right, well, here's the jokers that I'm dealing with. Wide receiver.
Preston
I'm
Williams.
not going to read the guys who are IR. They keep them on IR. I don't know what that's about. Christian Kirk.
No.
Okay, the guy who I'm trying to get that everyone else is trying to get, Larry Fitzgerald.
Preston Williams is your guy this week.
No, it turned out he was taken.
Really?
Yeah. Can you believe it? Marquez Valdez. Screw.
Nah.
All right. Randall Cobb.
He's a possibility.
You didn't say that with a lot of enthusiasm.
Scotty
Miller. Scotty Miller already cost me a game. How about Scotty? Put him back on.
Godwin's out. Scotty Miller might be a 10-pointer this week. You could probably get 10 points from Scotty Miller in week 4. Yeah.
Why? Chargers are good D.
Chris Godwin's out. Leonard Fournette has not looked good running the football. At least he didn't look good last week. Tom Brady's got to pass to somebody, and it's not going to be to the tight ends. It's going to be Mike Evans, and it's going to be Scotty Miller.
Really? Okay. I'll do that. Hey, I'm trying to adjust my lineup here. But you think that the other guy, the guy who complains, you think he doesn't like doing this? Okay. Watch, let's go this. I'm sorry I'm taking some time here. I mean, come on, I'm older. I am. These are free agents. Scott, so I'm taking him, right?
Yeah. Yes. Who's on your team? Who else is on your team? Is Deshaun Jackson still on your team?
Yeah, I just cut him. Cut him?
Well, who are you going to drop to add Scotty Miller?
No, I told you I had a blank because I don't think I'm going to get Larry Fitzgerald. All right, we got to finish up, man. People are saying, what the hell are you guys doing? Danny Amendola?
No.
Antonio Brown's. Thank you.
Kareem Hunt's groin isn't believed to be serious. That's just breaking news.
You know what? We're going to end the show on that note. That's it. Because I just got the first bit of good news that I have had in ages.
Do you want?
I'm going to take that power that I have. I don't get. No, I'm fine now because I was scrambling. I can just get. I'll either get Fitz, or I'm going to go get Scotty.
Leonard Fournette not practicing.
What?
Leonard Fournette not practicing Thursday. Ankle injury.
All right.
I have to give you the good with the bad, Jim. Otherwise, I can't just give you all the good. I got to keep you honest. I got to stay
check in
focused.
tomorrow, maybe he plays.
We'll check in tomorrow. We'll have that update on Bull Market.
When did he get an ankle injury?
I guess last week. Not in practice.
I broke my ankle. I played. Anyway, I'd like to say it's another great show, but I'm so sad I can't. It was great insight.
We helped the people. We might not have helped the ski daddies that much.
I'll recommend every SPAC, I promise. A lot of learning lessons.
Don't give in to these Twitter trigger finger people. Keyboard warriors.
What do you think of Andy Isabella? Miles Boykin? How about Mohamed Sanu?
Nope. He's not even on a team.
D.D. Westbrook?
Nah, I can't trust him.
Russell Westbrook?
Wrong sport.
Brian West? All right. Now, I mean, there's so much straight dope here that I'm crushed. I mean, the other guys are always upbeat. You ever notice that? It's like nothing happened. They obviously have no skin in the game whatsoever. Oh, and yeah, by the way, those of you who have Leonard Fournette, you might be unaware that he might not play. Oh, go to hell. Anyway, I want you to go to DraftKings.com and hell, use the promo code BULL. Great prizes for this week. We're going to have an update on Sunday morning, and I'll be able to use – I couldn't get the Zoom to work last week. I'm 60-5. Use the promo code BULL. Great prizes. We will have an update Sunday morning where I'm working so hard because the wife is up to somewhere I don't even know where she is. It's some place I never heard of. And we're going to have more great bets, player props, and last-minute injury news, and a makeover again for the Ski Daddies. Bill, Enright, and I wish you good luck. I just did an Eagles minute, and I tried to be as constructive as possible, and I'm trying to be constructive here. Let me go back to where at least I can make some money. Everybody, I wish you the best.
Clear.